My ex-wife arrived with her new boyfriend and his 5-year-old child. Wife. Sign these divorce papers and leave now. My daughter. What? Mum, you really don't know? She showed my wife a document, and my wife suddenly went pale. I'm sitting at the kitchen table when I hear the car pull into the driveway. It's a Tuesday afternoon in late October, and the light coming through the window is that particular kind of gold that makes everything look like it's already a memory. I've been staring at my coffee for 20 minutes, watching the cream swirl and separate, thinking about how some things mix and some things don't, no matter how much you stir. The engine cuts off. Car doors open and close. 1, 2, 2, 3. 3 doors. My daughter Rose is upstairs in her room, supposedly doing homework, but probably sketching in that notebook she thinks I don't know about. She's 14 and she's inherited my habit of retreating into imaginary worlds when the real one gets too loud. I don't blame her. I taught her that. I hear voices outside. Sarah's laugh, the one she uses when she's nervous or performing. Then a man's voice, deeper, unfamiliar. Then a child's voice, high and excited, asking about the swing set in the backyard. I set down my coffee cup very carefully. My hands are steady. That surprises me. The front door opens without a knock. Of course it does. She still lives here. Technically. Though she's been staying at her sister's place for the past 2 weeks. Ever since the night she told me we needed space and left with an overnight bag that I noticed contained a week's worth of clothes. I don't stand up. I stay seated at the kitchen table, my hands wrapped around a coffee cup that's gone cold. And I wait. Sarah walks in first. She's wearing the blue dress I bought her for our anniversary 3 years ago. The one she said made her feel beautiful. Her hair is different, shorter, layered, professional. She's lost weight. She looks good, happy, even, until she sees me sitting there and her smile fractures into something harder. Marcus, she says. Just my name. No hello, no explanation for the 2 strangers following her into our kitchen. The man behind her is tall, maybe 6'2", with the kind of casual confidence that comes from never having to question your place in a room. He's wearing designer jeans and a watch that probably costs more than my car. His hand rests on the shoulder of a little boy, maybe 5 years old, with curly hair and a Spider-Man backpack. I didn't know you'd be home, Sarah says, which is such a strange thing to say that I almost laugh. Where else would I be? This is my house. Our house. The house where we've lived for 12 years. Where we brought Rose home from the hospital. Where we painted the nursery yellow because we wanted to be surprised. I work from home, I say quietly. You know that? She shifts her weight from one foot to the other. The man behind her clears his throat. Marcus, this is Derek, she says, and I can hear her trying to sound casual, normal, like she's introducing me to a colleague at a company picnic. And this is his son, Mason. The boy waves at me. I wave back. He seems like a nice kid. We need to talk, Sarah says, and she sets her purse down on the counter. The granite counter I spent 3 weekends installing because we couldn't afford to hire someone back when we were saving for Rose's college fund. Back when we were we. Derek steps forward and extends his hand. I look at it for a long moment. At the manicured nails, the expensive watch, the gold ring on his right hand, and then I stand up and shake it, Because my mother raised me to have manners, even when my world is ending. Nice to meet you, he says, and he sounds like he means it, which somehow makes it worse. Is it? I ask. Sarah's eyes flash. Marcus, please, let's be adults about this. I almost ask her what she means by adults, but I don't. Instead, I sit back down and fold my hands on the table like I'm in a business meeting. Like my wife didn't just walk into our home with another man and his child. What do you need, Sarah? She reaches into her purse. A new purse, I notice, leather and expensive looking, and pulls out a manila envelope. She slides it across the table toward me. It makes a soft sound against the wood, like a whisper, like the rustle of sheets in an empty bed. Divorce papers, she says. I need you to sign them. Today. The words hang in the air like smoke. I stare at the envelope, at the way her name is printed on the return address label, next to a law firm I don't recognize. She's already hired a lawyer. She's already started the process. This isn't a conversation. It's a transaction. Today, I repeat. Yes. She crosses her arms. I know this is sudden, but sudden. I laugh, and it sounds strange even to me, hollow and airless. Sarah, sudden is a rainstorm. Sudden is a flat tire. This is, what is this exactly? Derek shifts uncomfortably. Mason has wandered over to the window and is looking at the bird feeder, bored by adult drama he's probably witnessed before. This is me taking control of my life, Sarah says, and there's steel in her voice now, the voice she uses when she's made up her mind about something and won't be moved. This is me being honest about what I need, what we both need. We, I say. You and me. You know what I mean. Actually, I don't. Why don't you explain it to me? She sighs like I am being difficult, like I'm the one making this hard. Marcus, we've been unhappy for years. You know that. We've been roommates, not partners. You work all day in that study, writing your little stories. Little stories. And I've been carrying this family on my back. The bills, the household, Rose's school. I paid for Rose's school. With money you made from what? Freelance articles that paid $200 each. That novel you've been working on for 5 years that no one will ever read. She shakes her head. I can't do this anymore. I can't pretend that this is a marriage. I can't pretend that you're enough. The words land like blows, each one calculated, precise. This isn't spontaneous anger. This is a speech she's rehearsed. So you found someone who is enough, I say, looking at Derek. He has the decency to look uncomfortable. I didn't mean for this to happen, man. But Sarah and I, we connected, and Mason needs a mother figure. His biological mother isn't in the picture. How convenient, I say. A ready-made family. Sarah's jaw tightens. Sign the papers, Marcus. I've already agreed to give you full custody of Rose. I'll take minimal assets. You can keep the house, the car, whatever. I just need to move on. We need to move on. I stare at her. At this woman I've known for 16 years, loved for 16 years, built a life with. I'm searching her face for some sign of the girl I met at that coffee shop near the university, the one who laughed at my terrible jokes and stayed up all night talking about books and dreams. But she's not there. Or maybe she is, and this is who she always was. and I was just too in love to see it. You're giving me full custody of Rose, I say slowly. Yes, I think it's for the best. She's at a difficult age, and she needs stability. I need space to figure out who I am outside of being a mother and a wife. To figure out who you are, I repeat. And you need to do that with him? I gesture at Derek. With his child? How does that give you space from being a mother? She doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. The logic doesn't matter. The truth is simple. She wants a different life, with different people, and I'm the obstacle she needs to remove. Just sign the papers, she says again, and her voice is tired now, like I'm exhausting her. You'll get everything. The house, custody, no alimony, no fight. Just let me go. I look down at the manila envelope. I think about opening it, reading through the legal language, the whereas and heretofores that reduce 16 years of marriage due to a series of checkboxes and signatures. I think about how easy it would be to sign my name, to let her walk out that door and into her new life, to be the nice guy who doesn't make a fuss. That's what she expects. That's what she's always expected from me. Compliance, an accommodation, the path of least resistance. She thinks she knows me. She thinks I'm the same man she married, the one who was so grateful she chose him that he never questioned anything, never demanded anything, never stood up for himself. She has no idea who I am now. No, I say. The word falls into the silence like a stone into still water. Sarah blinks. What? No, I'm not signing them. Not today. Not like this. Her face flushes. Marcus, don't be difficult. I've made this as easy as possible for you. Easy? I stand up now, and I'm surprised by how calm I feel. How clear. You bring another man and his child into my home, hand me divorce papers, and tell me to sign them on the spot. And you think you're making this easy? I'm giving you everything you want. You don't know what I want. You've never known what I want. You stopped asking years ago. Derek steps forward, his hand raised in a pacifying gesture. Hey man, I get that you're upset. Don't, I say. And my voice is low, but firm. Don't hey man me. You're sleeping with my wife. You don't get to play peacemaker. Ex-wife, Sarah snaps. Not yet, she's not. We stare at each other across the kitchen, and I can see her recalculating, trying to figure out what went wrong with her script. This was supposed to be simple. I was supposed to be devastated, compliant, grateful for scraps. What do you want? She asks, finally. Money? Is that what this is about? Because I can ask Derek. I don't want his money. I don't want anything from him. Then what? Time, I say. I want time to read these papers, to understand what I'm signing, to talk to a lawyer. You don't need a lawyer. It's a clean split. Then you won't mind me taking a few days to verify that. Her nostrils flare. Fine, fine, take your time. But I want an answer by Friday. You'll get one. She grabs her purse, gestures to Derek and Mason. We're leaving. This was a mistake. I should have mailed them. Yes, I agree. You should have. They head toward the door, Mason skipping ahead, oblivious. Sarah pauses at the threshold and looks back at me. For just a moment, I see something in her eyes. regret, maybe, or guilt, or just the fading ghost of what we used to be. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, she says quietly. How did you mean for it to happen? She doesn't answer. She just shakes her head and walks out. And I hear the car doors close, the engine start, the sound of gravel under tires as they drive away. I stand in the kitchen alone, my heart pounding, my hands shaking now that it's over. I look at the manila envelope on the table, at the coffee cup with its cold separated cream, at the afternoon light that's starting to fade. Then I hear footsteps on the stairs. Dad? Rose is standing in the doorway, still in her school clothes, her dark hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Her eyes are red. She's been crying. How much did you hear? I ask. All of it. She comes into the kitchen and sits down in the chair Sarah vacated. She's really leaving us. She's leaving me. I correct gently. Not you, never you. She said she's giving you full custody. That sounds like leaving me too. I don't know what to say to that because she's right. I sit down next to her and take her hand. It's cold. I'm sorry, I say. You shouldn't have to deal with this. Is it true what she said about your writing? That no one will ever read it? I would squeeze her hand. It doesn't matter. It matters to me. She looks at me, and her eyes are fierce, protective. You work so hard. You're always in your study, and I hear you typing late at night. Mom acts like it's nothing, like it's a hobby, but it's not. It's what you do. It's who you are. Your mom is going through something. Don't defend her. Rose pulls her hand away. Don't make excuses for her. She brought another man here, Dad. To our house, with his kid. That's not going through something. That's being cruel. She's right again. But I don't want her to be angry. Anger is heavy, and she's too young to carry it. We're going to be okay, I tell her. Both of us. I promise. Are you going to sign the papers? Eventually, but not today. Not without understanding what I'm agreeing to. She nods, satisfied. Then she leans against me, her head on my shoulder, and we sit there as the light dies outside and the kitchen fills with shadows. That night, after Rose goes to bed, I sit in my study with the divorce papers spread out on my desk. I've been putting off reading them, dreading the reality they represent. But I can't avoid them forever. The study is small, barely bigger than a closet. But it's mine. There's a desk I bought at a garage sale, a chair that squeaks when I lean back, and shelves lined with books, research materials, craft guides, novels I love, and novels I wish I'd written. On the wall above my desk is a corkboard covered with notes, character sketches, timeline maps. Evidence of years of work. Evidence of little stories no one will ever read. I open the envelope and pull out the papers. 20 pages of legal jargon, all spelling out the dissolution of what we built together. Sarah wants the divorce finalized within 60 days. She's requesting no alimony, no child support from me. She's relinquishing custody of Rose. She wants none of the property, none of the assets. It's generous to the point of being suspicious. I flip through the pages, looking for the catch, the hidden clause that will come back to bite me. But there's nothing. It's exactly what she said. A clean split. She gets her freedom. I get everything else. I should feel relieved. I should be grateful. Instead, I feel hollowed out, like someone reached inside and scooped out everything essential, leaving only the shape of a man behind. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Hey Marcus, it's Tom. Sarah gave me your number. I'm her lawyer. Just wanted to introduce myself and let you know I'm happy to answer any questions about the documents. We want this to be as smooth as possible for everyone. I stare at the message. Tom, her lawyer. Using words like we and everyone, as if we're all on the same team, all working toward the same goal. I delete the message without responding. My computer screen is dark, but I can see my reflection in it. Tired eyes, 2 days of stubble, hair that needs cutting. I look like what I am. A man who's been sleepwalking through his own life and just woke up to find himself somewhere he doesn't recognize. I move the mouse and the screen comes to life, showing the document I was working on before Sarah arrived. Chapter 43 of the novel I've been writing for 5 years. The novel she called a little story. The novel she's certain no one will ever read. She's wrong about that, but she doesn't know. Nobody knows. I close the divorce papers and open a different folder on my computer. This one is password protected, buried 3 layers deep in my file system. Inside are contracts, emails, bank statements, evidence of a life I've been living in parallel to the one Sarah sees. 3 years ago, I finished the novel. It took me 2 years to write and another 6 months to revise. It's a fantasy story about a boy who discovers he can enter other people's dreams and must navigate a world where reality and nightmare blur together. It's the book I always wanted to write, the book I poured everything into. Every fear, every hope, every question I had about what it means to be human. I queried agents for 6 months and got rejected by all of them. Too weird, they said. Too unmarketable. The fantasy market is oversaturated. No one wants another chosen one story. Thanks, but no thanks. Sarah told me it was time to give up, to get a real job, to accept that writing was a nice dream but not a viable career. She was disappointed but not surprised. She'd never really believed in it anyway. So I did something I didn't tell her about. I posted the novel online, on a website for amateur writers, a place where people share stories for free and hope someone reads them. I used a pen name, K.R. Knight. I didn't expect anything to come of it. I just wanted someone, anyone, to read what I'd written. The first week, I got 300 views. The second week, 3,000. By the end of the month, the novel had been read by 30,000 people, and the comments were overwhelming. This is amazing. When's the next book? This should be published. This changed my life. I couldn't believe it. After years of rejection, of being told my work wasn't good enough, here were thousands of people saying they loved it. Then I got an email from a publisher in Japan, a small press that specialized in translating web novels. They wanted to publish Dreamwalker in Japanese. They offered me a modest advance, $5,000, and I took it without hesitation. The book came out in Japan 6 months later and did okay. Not great, but okay. Enough that they wanted to publish the sequel I'd already started writing. And then something unexpected happened. An anime studio bought the rights to adapt Dreamwalker into a series. I found out through an email I almost deleted as spam. They offered me $50,000 for a 2-year option on the rights, with additional payments if the show went into production. I signed the contract. I didn't tell Sarah. I didn't tell anyone. The anime premiered in Japan 8 months ago. It was a hit. Not a massive mainstream hit, but big enough that the studio renewed for a second season and started licensing it to streaming platforms internationally. My share of the licensing fees has been deposited into a separate bank account Sarah doesn't know exists. Every month, more money comes in. Royalties from book sales, streaming residuals, merchandise. Not enough to be rich, but enough to be secure. Enough to matter. In the last year, I've made $240,000 from Dreamwalker and its sequel. Sarah has no idea. She thinks I'm still writing little stories for $200 a pop. She thinks I'm a failure, a dreamer who never grew up. She pities me. And I've let her think that because... why? Fear? Pride? Some misguided sense that if she didn't believe in me when I had nothing, she didn't deserve to celebrate with me when I had something. Maybe all of those things. I sit back in my squeaky chair and stare at the numbers on my screen. The bank balance. The projections for next year's earnings if the anime continues to grow. The email from my Japanese publisher asking if I want to do an American release now that the anime is building an international audience. I think about Sarah in the kitchen today, so confident in her narrative. Telling me I'm not enough. Telling me she's been carrying this family. Telling me to sign the papers and let her go. She thinks she's leaving a sinking ship. She has no idea the ship already sailed without her. The next morning, I do something I haven't done in years. I call in sick to my freelance commitments and take Rose to breakfast. We go to the diner on 5th Street, the one with the red booths and the waitress who's been there since before I was born. Rose orders pancakes. I order coffee and toast. I don't eat. You look tired, Rose says, dousing her pancakes in syrup. I didn't sleep much. Because of Mom. Because of a lot of things. She cuts a precise triangle of pancake and chews thoughtfully. Are you going to sign the papers? I haven't decided. Do you still love her? The question catches me off guard. I look at my daughter, 14 years old, too smart for her own good, too observant. She has Sarah's eyes, but my habit of looking directly at uncomfortable truths. I don't know, I say honestly. I love who she was, who I thought she was. But the person I saw yesterday, I shake my head. I don't know that person. She's been seeing Derek for a while, Rose says quietly. I figured it out last month. My stomach drops. How? She started dressing different, acting different. She was always on her phone texting, smiling at things I couldn't see. And she started talking about needing space, needing to find herself. Rose looks at me with something like pity. I didn't want to tell you because I thought maybe I was wrong. Or maybe it would blow over. But when she showed up yesterday with him, I knew. Why didn't you say anything? Would it have changed anything? I don't have an answer for that. Dad, Rose says, setting down her fork. Can I ask you something? Always. Are you okay? Like, really okay? Because you seem... She struggles for the word. Calm. Too calm. like you're not letting yourself feel it. I take a sip of the coffee, buying time. What do you want me to feel? Angry, sad, something. Instead, you're just quiet. She's right. I should be devastated. I should be raging or crying or breaking things. But instead, I feel strangely detached, like I'm watching this happen to someone else. Maybe it's shock, or maybe it's something else. A part of me that's been preparing for this moment for longer than I want to admit. A part of me that knew, on some level, that Sarah and I were already over. We just hadn't made it official yet. I'm processing, I tell Rose. Everyone does it differently. Or maybe you're secretly relieved. I look at her sharply. What makes you say that? She shrugs. You guys haven't been happy in forever. You barely talk. You sleep in separate rooms. You live like strangers. Maybe part of you is glad she's finally ending it. You just don't want to admit it, because that would make you a bad person. Out of the mouths of babes. You're too wise for 14, I say. I'm too wise because I'm your daughter, she replies. I notice things. I pay attention. And I know you're not telling me something. My heart skips. What do you mean? There's something going on with you. Something you're keeping secret. I can tell. She leans forward, eyes narrowed. Is it another woman? Because if it is, I'm not judging. Mom clearly has another man. It's not another woman. I interrupt. I promise. Then what is it? I consider my options. I could keep lying, keep hiding, or I could tell her the truth. She deserves the truth. She's old enough, smart enough. And if Sarah is leaving, if it's just going to be the two of us, I wrote a book, I say. Rose blinks. I know. You've been writing one for years. No. I mean, I finished it 3 years ago, and it got published. Day in Japan. Her mouth falls open. What? And it became an anime. It's streaming on Netflix. It's called Dreamwalker. The anime? The one with the boy who enters dreams? Her voice rises. That's yours. That's mine. She stares at me like I've grown a second head. Then she laughs. A surprised, delighted sound that makes other diners look over. Oh my God. Oh my God, Dad. That's amazing. I've watched that show. Sarah Kim at school is obsessed with it. Why didn't you tell anyone? I didn't know if it would work out. And your mom? I hesitate. Your mom didn't believe in the book. She thought it was a waste of time. So when it started to take off, I didn't tell her. I told myself I would, when the time was right. But the time was never right, and then I spread my hands. Then yesterday happened. Rose is still processing, her eyes wide. Wait. So the book made money? Yeah. How much money? Enough. Dad. How much? I tell her. I tell her about the publishing deal, the anime adaptation, the royalties, the separate bank account. I tell her everything. When I'm done, she sits back against the booth, stunned. Mom has no idea, she says. No. And you're going to let her leave without knowing? I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Rose is quiet for a long moment, her pancakes forgotten. Then she looks at me with a strange expression. part admiration, part concern. This changes everything, she says. Maybe. No, Dad. It does. She thinks she's leaving you with nothing. She thinks she's doing you a favor. But you're the one with everything. You're the one who made something. And she's about to find out she gave it all away for free. There's something almost hungry in Rose's voice. A desire for justice, for her mother to see what she missed. I understand it. I feel it too. But I also feel something else. A deep, bone-tired sadness that this is what we've come to. Scorekeeping, revenge fantasies, quiet satisfaction at someone else's impending regret. It's not about winning, I say gently. Then what is it about? I don't have an answer. Or maybe I do, but it's too complicated to explain. It's about self-respect, about refusing to be diminished, about standing up and saying, you were wrong about me, even if the person who needs to hear it most won't listen. Let's just get through this one day at a time, I say. Okay. Rose nods, but I can see her mind working, planning. She's her father's daughter. She's thinking 3 moves ahead. Friday comes faster than I expect. Sarah texts me Thursday night to confirm I'll have the signed papers ready. I don't respond. Friday afternoon, she shows up at 3 o'clock, right on the schedule. This time she comes alone. No Derek, no Mason, just her, standing on the porch like a visitor, waiting for me to let her into the house she used to call home. I open the door. Come in. She steps inside, and I see her look around like she's checking for changes, for evidence that I've already started building a new life without her. But everything looks the same. Same furniture, same photos on the walls, same shoes by the door. Is Rose here? She asks. She's upstairs. Do you want to see her? Maybe after. She clutches her purse to her chest. Did you read the papers? Every word. And? Let's talk in the kitchen. I lead her to the table where this all started 3 days ago. I've printed out a copy of the divorce papers with my notes in the margins. Questions, clarifications, concerns. She looks at them and her face tightens. You marked them up. I had questions. I told you it's a clean split. There's nothing complicated here, except the part about child support. She frowns. I'm not asking for any. I know, but I am heirs. She stares at me. What? Section 12, subsection B. You're relinquishing custody, but you're not agreeing to pay child support. That needs to change. Marcus, I don't have. You have a job. You make $50,000 a year as an office manager. According to California law, you owe a percentage of your income to support Rose, even if I have primary custody. You're seriously going to make me pay you? I'm seriously going to make you contribute to your daughter's welfare. Yes. The same way I would have to if the situation were reversed. Her face flushes. This is petty. This is fair. You're doing this to punish me. I'm doing this because Rose deserves financial support from both her parents. If you want out of this marriage, fine. But you don't get to opt out of being a mother. She opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. Fine. Fine. How much? I slide a paper across the table. A calculation I did based on state guidelines. $700 a month, paid directly to an account for Rose's expenses. 700. Marcus, that's almost 20% of my take-home. It's 17% actually, the standard rate. I can't afford that. Not with Derek's mortgage, and Mason needs... She cuts herself off, but it's too late. I heard it. Mason needs his kid, not hers. The child she's choosing to help raise over the one she already has. Something cold settles in my chest. Let me be clear, I say, and my voice is very quiet now, very controlled. You're telling me you can't afford to support Rose because you're financially responsible for Derek's child. That's not what I'm saying. That's exactly what you're saying. You're choosing his son over our daughter. Don't twist my words. You don't understand the situation. Then explain it to me. She looks away, jaw working. Derek is going through a custody battle with Mason's mother. It's expensive. Legal fees, court costs. He's trying to get full custody, and I'm helping him. You're helping him. Yes, with money. With whatever he needs. I sit back, amazed. How long have you been with him? She doesn't answer. Sarah, how long? 8 months, she says finally, quietly. 8 months. 2/3 of a year. Almost long enough that I should have noticed, except I was too busy in my study, writing my little stories, giving her all the space she needed to build a relationship with someone else. And you're already so invested that you're willing to choose his child over yours, Ais. It's not about choosing. Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. I lean forward. Sign the child support agreement, or I'll fight the divorce. I'll drag this out for months, years if I have to. And I'll make sure the court knows exactly how you've been spending your time and money. Her eyes widen. You wouldn't. Try me. We stare at each other across the table. I watch her recalculate again, trying to figure out who I am, where the compliant husband went. She's looking at a stranger, and she doesn't like what she sees. This isn't you, she says. You're not vindictive. You're not cruel, Seeds. You're right, I'm not. But I'm also not a doormat. And I'm done being treated like one. All I want is to start over. Then start over. But pay for your daughter while you do it. She looks down at the papers, at my neat handwriting in the margins, at the calculations and citations. She looks defeated. Fine, she says. I'll agree to the child support. Good. I'll have my lawyer draw up the amendment. She looks up sharply. You have a lawyer? As of Monday, yes. Who? Tom said you hadn't reached out to anyone. I didn't reach out to Tom. I found my own representation. She stands abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. This is ridiculous. We could have done this amicably. Amicably? You brought another man to my house, told me to sign papers on the spot, and expected me to just... What? Thank you. I expected you to be mature. I'm being perfectly mature. I'm protecting my daughter and myself. That's what adults do. She grabs her purse, her hands shaking. I'll sign the amendment. Send it to Tom. But I want this done fast. I want to move on. Then you should have thought of that before you had an affair. The word hangs between us like a blade. She flinches. It wasn't an affair. We were already over. We weren't divorced. Marcus, just go, Sarah. She looks at me for a long moment, and I see something flicker in her eyes. Regret? Guilt? Or just irritation that I'm not making this easy for her? I never wanted to hurt you, she says quietly. But you did. I know. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry it's messy. But you're not sorry you did it. She doesn't deny it. She just turns and walks to the front door. She pauses there, her hand on the knob. Goodbye, Marcus. Goodbye. She leaves. The door closes. I sit alone in the kitchen, my heart pounding, my hands shaking with adrenaline. Then I hear footsteps on the stairs. Rose appears in the doorway. She's holding something, a folder, thin and blue. You okay? I ask. I should be asking you that. I'm fine. You don't look fine. I try to smile. I'm better than I expected to be. She comes into the kitchen and sits in the chair Sarah just vacated. She sets the folder on the table between us. What's that? I ask. Insurance, she says. Open it, Rose says. I pull the folder toward me and flip it open. Inside are printed emails, text message screenshots, bank statements. I scan the first page. Text between Sarah and a number saved as D. Messages going back months. Casual at first, then flirtatious, then explicit. I wish I could see you tonight. Soon. He works late on Thursdays. Tell him you're going to your sister's. Tell him anything. I look up at Rose. How did you get these? Mom's iCloud is synced to the iPad she gave me. She forgot to turn off message mirroring. Rose's expression is neutral, but her eyes are hard. I've been watching for weeks. I knew something was going on. I wanted proof in case you needed it. My throat tightens. My 14-year-old daughter has been playing detective, gathering evidence, protecting me while I was oblivious. Rose, keep reading. I turn to the next page. Bank statements from a credit card I don't recognize. Charges at expensive restaurants, hotels, a jewelry store, thousands of dollars over the past 6 months. That's a credit card she opened in February. Rose explains. She used your information for the application, co-signed without telling you. My stomach drops. She committed fraud. Yeah. I flip through more pages, more texts, more receipts. Evidence of a relationship that started long before 8 months ago. More like a year. Evidence of money spent, lies told, a double life carefully maintained. Why didn't you show me this before? I ask. Would you have believed Bigiji? Or would you have tried to fix it? To save the marriage? To find a way to make it work? Rose leans forward. Dad, you're too nice. You always give people the benefit of the doubt. I knew if I told you too early, you'd confront Mom, and she'd just lie and you'd believe her because you want to believe the best in people. I needed to wait until she forced your hand. Smart kid. Terrifyingly smart. What do you want me to do with this? I ask. I want you to use it. She's trying to make this a clean split, trying to act like she's being generous. But she stole from you. She lied to you. She deserves to be held accountable. I look at my daughter, at the anger and hurt in her eyes, at the set of her jaw that's so much like mine. She's been carrying this alone for weeks, watching her mother's betrayal unfold, unable to stop it. Rose, this kind of evidence, in a divorce, it could destroy her, financially, professionally. Good. That's not who we are. Maybe it should be. She crosses her arms. She embarrassed you. She treated you like you were nothing. She told you to leave your own house and you're just going to let her walk away. What do you want? Revenge? I want justice. There's a difference. Is there? I'm not sure anymore. I close the folder and slide it back to her. Sir, I'm not using this to hurt your mother. Dad, but I will use it to protect us. If she fights the child support, if she tries to change the custody agreement, if she does anything that puts you at risk, then yes, I'll use it. But not before. Not unless I have to. Rose looks disappointed, but not surprised. You're too good for her, Sue. Maybe. Or maybe I just don't want to become the kind of person who uses their daughter's pain as ammunition. She considers this, then nods slowly. Okay, but I'm keeping the folder, just in case. Fair enough? We sit in silence for a moment. Then Rose says, "Can I ask you something, Sue? Always? Are you going to tell Mom about Dreamwalker?" "I don't know, you should. You should make her see what she gave up. That feels like revenge." "No, it's truth. She called your work worthless. She mocked your dreams. She should know she was wrong, I think about this. Rose isn't wrong. There's a difference between revenge and truth, between hurting someone and simply showing them reality. If the opportunity comes up, I say carefully, I'll consider it." Rose grins, a fierce, satisfied expression. Good. The revised divorce papers come back through Tom 2 weeks later. Sarah has agreed to the child support. $700 a month, starting the 1st of December. The divorce will be finalized in 60 days, as originally planned. I sign the papers. I don't tell Sarah about the anime. I don't send her the evidence Rose collected. I take the high road, the mature path. I let her go without fireworks or final confrontations. Rose is disappointed. She wanted drama, catharsis, a moment where her mother realizes what she lost. But that's not how life works. Sometimes people leave and never understand what they walked away from. Sometimes they get to live in their new reality, unburdened by the truth of their old one. For 2 weeks, that's what happens. And then the anime goes mainstream. It starts with a tweet. "Just finished #Dreamwalker and I'm sobbing. Best anime of the year, don't at me." Then another. "Okay, but can we talk about how Dreamwalker is criminally underrated? This deserves all the awards." Then a viral TikTok video. Someone doing a dramatic reading of a scene from episode 6. The one where the protagonist realizes his nightmares are memories. It gets 3 million views in 2 days. Suddenly, Dreamwalker isn't a niche anime with a modest following. It's a phenomenon. Think pieces are written. Reddit threads dissect every episode. Podcasts devote entire episodes to analyzing the themes. And people start digging into who wrote it. My pen name, K.R. Knight, isn't hard to trace if you know where to look. Some internet detective finds an old forum post where I mentioned living in California. Someone else connects it to an interview I did with the Japanese publisher 3 years ago. where I mentioned being married with a daughter. Someone digs up the original web novel posting and cross-references the timestamp with my sporadic Twitter account. Before I know what's happening, I'm getting tagged in tweets. Wait, is KR Knight actually Marcus Chen from Sacramento? Just found out the Dreamwalker author lives in my city. This dude wrote one of the best fantasy stories of the decade, and no one in America even knows who he is. I watch it unfold like a slow-motion car crash. I should probably say something, confirm or deny, but I don't. I just watch as my carefully constructed anonymity crumbles. Then the interview requests start coming. A podcast about anime adaptations wants to talk to me. A local news station wants to do a human interest story. Someone from Netflix sends an email asking if I'd consider consulting on the American marketing campaign. I ignore most of them. But then I get a message from a literary agent in New York, a big agent, the kind who represents best-selling authors, asking if I have US publication rights available. I've been following Dreamwalker since it premiered in Japan. I think this could be huge in America. If you're interested in discussing representation, I'd love to set up a call. I stare at the email for a long time. This is it. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for without knowing I was waiting for it. A chance to bring my work home, to publish in my own country, to be more than a quiet success in a language I don't speak. I write back. I'd be very interested. Let's talk. 3 days later, I'm on a Zoom call with Janet Wu, a literary agent whose client list includes 3 Pulitzer Prize finalists and a MacArthur Genius Grant recipient. She's sharp, direct, and deeply enthusiastic about Dreamwalker. The buzz is building fast, she says. American audiences are hungry for this kind of story. Complex, emotional, fantastical but grounded. And the fact that it's already proven itself internationally makes it an easy pitch to publishers. How easy? I ask. I'd want to take it to auction. Multiple publishers. Best offer wins. I'm thinking we could get a 2-book deal. Dreamwalker and the sequel, with an option for a third. Advance in the mid-6 figures, maybe higher if we're lucky. My hands are sweating. Mid-6 figures. At minimum. The anime's popularity is your leverage. Publishers love built-in audiences. And if we do this, it becomes public. My name, my location, everything. Probably, yes. Is that a problem? I think about Sarah. About the divorce that's weeks away from being finalized. About Rose's folder of evidence still tucked away in her desk drawer. No, I say, it's not a problem. Janet grins. Then let's make this happen. The news breaks 3 weeks before the divorce is finalized. Local Sacramento author behind international anime. It's a puff piece in the Sacramento Bee, the kind of feel-good local story they run to balance out the crime reports and political scandals. There's a photo of me in my study, looking vaguely professorial in glasses I bought specifically for the photo shoot. There's a summary of Dreamwalker's success, the anime's viewership numbers, the deal with Janet Wu. And there, buried in the middle of the article, is a paragraph about my personal life. Chen, 42, lives in Sacramento with his teenage daughter. He recently finalized a divorce and says the experience informed much of his latest work. Sometimes endings are necessary, he told the Bee. They create space for new beginnings. I didn't say that. The reporter paraphrased something I said about narrative structure and applied it to my personal life. But it doesn't matter. The implication is clear. I'm single, I'm available, I'm moving on. The article goes live on a Thursday morning. By Thursday afternoon, my phone is blowing up. Friends I haven't heard from in years. Dude, I had no idea you wrote Dreamwalker. That's insane. Former colleagues, I always knew you'd make it. So proud of you. Distant relatives, we need to catch up. When can we talk? I ignore most of them. But then I get a text from a number I don't recognize. Is this true? You wrote Dreamwalker. It's from Tom, Sarah's lawyer. I don't respond. 5 minutes later, my phone rings. I let it go to voicemail. It rings again. This time I answer. Hello? Marcus, it's Sarah. Her voice is tight, controlled, but I can hear the tremor underneath. She's angry, or shocked, or both. Hi, I say. I just saw the article. Yeah. It came out this morning. You wrote Dreamwalker. Yes. The anime, the one that's everywhere right now. That's the one. Silence. I can hear her breathing, fast and shallow. How long? She asks finally. How long what? How long have you been hiding this? I haven't been hiding it. I just didn't tell you. That's the same thing. Is it? More silence. Then quietly. The article says you made a book deal. 6 figures. Mid-6 figures, actually, for 2 books. Jesus Christ. She sounds faint. You've been sitting on this the whole time. Sitting on what? My work. Yeah, Sarah. I've been working, writing, building something. Isn't that what you always wanted me to do? Don't. Her voice sharpens. Don't act like I knew about this. You kept it secret. You lied. I didn't lie. I just didn't volunteer information you made very clear you weren't interested in. You let me think you were broke. You let me think you were barely scraping by. You assumed that. I never said I was broke. The divorce papers. Marcus, I gave up everything because I thought you needed it. And I appreciate that. Do you have any idea how this looks? How what looks? Me leaving you right before you become successful. People are going to think I'm an idiot. Or worse, they're going to think I'm a gold digger who left before she realized, oh, I see. This isn't about me lying. This is about you looking bad. That's not fair. You're right. It's not fair. None of this is fair. But it's happening, and we both have to live with it. She's quiet for a long moment. Then, can we talk? In person? Why? Because we need to. Please, just come to the house, tonight. Your house, with Derek. He's not here. He took Mason to his parents for the weekend. It's just me. I consider refusing. I should refuse. We signed the papers. It's done. There's nothing left to say. But there's a part of me, a small, petty part, that wants to see her face when I explain exactly how wrong she was, when I show her what she missed. Fine, I say. 7 o'clock. Thank you. She hangs up. Rose, who's been listening from the doorway, raises an eyebrow. You're going to see her? Apparently. Can I come? No. Dad. Rose, this is between your mother and me. You don't need to be in the middle of it. I've been in the middle of it since the beginning. She's not wrong, but I still shake my head. Stay home. I'll be back in a few hours. She looks like she wants to argue, but she doesn't. She just nods and disappears back upstairs, probably to text her friends about the drama unfolding in her broken family. I arrive at Sarah's new place at 7 sharp. It's a condo in a nice development on the north side. Modern, sterile, probably expensive. Derek's money, I assume. Sarah answers the door in jeans and a sweater. No makeup. Hair in a ponytail. She looks younger like this. More like the woman I married. It throws me for a second. Thanks for coming, she says. Sure. She lets me in. The condo is barely furnished. A couch, a coffee table, some boxes still unpacked in the corners. It doesn't look like a home yet. It looks like a placeholder. Do you want coffee? She asks. No, thank you. Water? Sarah, why am I here? She sits on the couch, gestures for me to sit across from her. I stay standing. I read the article 3 times, she says, and I looked up everything I could find about Dreamwalker, reviews, sales numbers, streaming data. Marcus, this is huge. This is the kind of success that changes lives. It already has. How long have you known? Known what? That it was going to be this big. I think about the question. I didn't know, not for sure. The anime could have flopped. The American deal could have fallen through. There were no guarantees. But you had signs. You had to know it was working. I knew I'd made something I was proud of. That was enough. She shakes her head. Why didn't you tell me? Why do you think? Because you wanted to punish me. I laugh, a sharp, humorless sound. You really think that is what this was? Some elaborate revenge plot? What else could it be? Self-preservation? I sit down finally, tired of standing. Sarah, every time I tried to talk to you about my writing, you shut me down. You called it a hobby. You told me to get a real job. You made it very clear that my dreams were an inconvenience. I was worried about money, and I was trying to build something. But you didn't believe in it, and I got tired of begging you to. So you just stopped telling me anything. I stopped sharing the parts of my life you made clear you didn't care about, yes. Her face crumples. That's not fair, I cared. I didn't understand. And you never explained. I tried to explain. For years I tried. You weren't listening. Because I was exhausted, I was working full-time, managing the house, raising Rose. And I was doing all of that too, while also writing, while also building something you refuse to acknowledge. She looks away, tears welling in her eyes. I didn't refuse. I didn't see it. Because you didn't want to. That's not true, isn't it? Be honest, Sarah. When you looked at me, what did you see? A partner or a project? Someone who needed to be fixed, managed, pushed into being the person you wanted me to be. She doesn't answer. She can't, because we both know the truth. I never wanted to hurt you, she says finally, her voice small. I believe that, but you did. Not because you left, I understand that. People fall out of love. But the way you did it, bringing Derek to our house, telling me to sign papers on the spot, acting like I should be grateful you were letting me keep the scraps. That was cruel. I thought I was being generous. You thought I was pathetic, and you wanted it over fast so you didn't have to feel guilty. She wipes her eyes. Maybe you're right. Maybe I did underestimate you, but you let me. You let me think you were just drifting. If you'd told me about the book, about the success, would it have changed anything? The question hangs between us. She doesn't answer for a long time. Then, quietly, I don't know. And there it is. The truth. She doesn't know if success would have saved us. Maybe it would have. Maybe she would have seen me differently, valued me differently. Or maybe she would have resented me for proving her wrong. I didn't come here for an apology, I say. And I don't want you to regret leaving. You made your choice. I've made peace with it. Then why did you come? Because you asked. And because I wanted you to know that I'm okay. Better than okay. I'm building a life I'm proud of. And I'm doing it with Rose. And we're going to be fine. She nods slowly. I'm glad. Are you? I think so. I want you to be happy, Marcus. I do. Just not happy with you. Not anymore? No. I stand. Then I think we're done here. Wait. She stands too, wrapping her arms around herself. Can I ask you something? Sure. The money from the anime, the book deal. Were you ever going to tell me? Even after the divorce? I consider lying, but there's no point. Probably not. She flinches. Why? Because it's not yours. It never was. This is something I built without you, and I don't owe you access to it. Even though we were married, even though we're Rose's parents, especially because of that. You made it clear my work didn't matter. You don't get to benefit from it now that it does. Her face hardens. That's vindictive. No, it's boundaries. We stare at each other. Then she sighs and sits back down, deflated. I guess I deserve that. You deserve honesty. I'm giving it to you. I head for the door. She doesn't try to stop me. But as I'm turning the knob, she says one more thing. Marcus? I look back. For what it's worth. I'm sorry. I should have believed in you. I nod. Yeah, you should have. Then I leave. Rose is waiting for me when I get home, sitting on the couch with her laptop open and a determined expression on her face. How'd it go? She asks. It went. Your mom knows about Dreamwalker. And? And nothing. We talked. It's done. Rose closes her laptop and looks at me seriously. Dad, I need to show you something. My stomach sinks. Rose. It's not more evidence, it's... Just come here. She opens her laptop and turns it toward me. On the screen is a website I don't recognize, a sleek, professional-looking blog with the header, Life After Lies, One Woman's Journey to Self-Discovery. What is this? I ask. Mom's blog. She started it last month. My blood runs cold. What? She's been writing about the divorce, about leaving you, about finding herself with Derek. Rose's voice is steady, but her eyes are blazing. She's been posting about it publicly, and she's made you look like a loser. I sit down heavily and start scrolling through the post. The courage to leave. Why I finally chose myself life with a dreamer. What happens when your partner refuses to grow up new beginnings with a man who sees my worth? Each post is carefully written, emotionally manipulative, painting Sarah as a long-suffering wife who finally found the strength to leave a stagnant marriage. She doesn't name me, but the details are specific enough that anyone who knows us would recognize the story. In her version, I'm the distant husband who cared more about his hobbies than his family. The man who refused to get a real job. The anchor holding her back from happiness. And in the comments, dozens of strangers cheer her on. So brave. You deserve this happiness. Some people never grow up. Good for you for moving on. I feel sick. How long has this been up? I ask. Since last month? But she posted something new today. Rose clicks on the most recent post. Read it. Success and timing. When your ex suddenly becomes someone. I skim the post. In it, Sarah talks about seeing the newspaper article, about discovering that her ex-husband wrote a successful book. She frames it as cosmic irony, the universe rewarding her for having faith, for leaving when she did, for trusting the process. She doesn't mention that she mocked my writing for years. She doesn't mention Derek. She doesn't mention any of the real story. Instead, she spins it as a tale of mutual growth. We both needed to let go in order to become who we were meant to be. The comments are even worse. See? Everything happens for a reason. You freed him to succeed. You should be proud. This is so inspiring. Both of you won. She's taking credit, Rose says, flatly. She's making it sound like leaving you was some kind of gift. Like she sacrificed for your growth. I close the laptop. My hands are shaking. Dad, Rose says carefully, you need to respond to this. How? Tell the truth. Write your own post. Do an interview, something. Let people know what really happened. I do not want to air our dirty laundry publicly. She already did. She's been doing it for weeks. And now she's rewriting history to make herself look good. You can't just let that stand. She's right. I know that she's right. But the thought of engaging in a public battle, of dragging our private pain into the open, there has to be another way, I say. Rose is quiet for a moment. Then she says, there is. Show her the folder, Rose says. Rose, I'm serious. She's lying publicly about you. She's making you look pathetic to thousands of people. You have proof of what she really did, the affair, the fraud, the lies. Show her. Tell her if she doesn't take down the blog and stop spinning this story, you'll release everything. That's blackmail. That's leverage. It's not who I want to be. Rose stands frustrated. Then who do you want to be? The nice guy who gets walked all over. The pushover who lets his ex-wife ruin his reputation because he's too moral to fight back. I want to be someone Rose is proud of. Someone who doesn't sink to that level. I'm proud of you no matter what, Dad. But I'm also angry. And you should be too. She's right. I should be angry. I am angry. But I'm also tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of drama. Tired of letting Sarah take up space in my head. Give me the folder, I say. Rose retrieves it from her room and hands it over. I flip through it again, looking at all the evidence she's collected. The texts, the receipts, the timeline of betrayal. What are you going to do? Rose asks. I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. The answer comes 3 days later in an unexpected form. Janet Wu calls me with an opportunity. A podcast interview with a popular show called Behind the Story. They want to talk about Dreamwalker, the creative process, the unexpected success. It's a great platform, Janet says. 500,000 downloads per episode. Very influential in literary circles. Will they ask about my personal life? They might. Is that a problem? I think about Sarah's blog, about the narrative she's building, about the truth that needs to be told. No, I say. It's not a problem. The interview is recorded on a Tuesday morning in their studio. The host, Marco Chen, no relation, is warm and engaging. The kind of person who makes you forget you're being recorded. We talk about Dreamwalker for 30 minutes. The inspiration, the themes, the challenge of writing something so personal and making it universal. Then he shifts gears. Your story has an interesting timing element, Imaida says. The book's success coincided with a major life change for you. Can you talk about that? Here it is, the moment. I take a breath. I finalized my divorce recently. That wasn't planned, obviously, but there's an interesting parallel in the timing. How so? The work that became Dreamwalker. That was work I did in relative isolation. My ex-wife didn't really understand it or value it. She saw it as a hobby, something that was taking time away from real work. And I internalized that for a long time. I believed that if she didn't see worth in what I was doing, maybe there wasn't any. But there was. And when the book started to succeed, when it became an anime, when readers connected with it, I realized that her opinion wasn't the only one that mattered. That I'd been letting one person's doubt define my entire sense of self-worth and others. That must have been difficult to navigate during a divorce. It was surreal, honestly. She left because she thought I wasn't enough, wasn't successful enough, ambitious enough, practical enough. And then, right as the divorce was being finalized, everything I'd been working towards started to pay off. It was like the universe was saying, you were always enough, she just couldn't see it. Marcus leans forward. There's been some online discussion about a blog. I know about the blog. Do you want to address it? Not specifically, but I'll say this. Everyone has their own narrative. Everyone needs to tell their story in a way that makes sense to them. If my ex-wife needs to frame our divorce as mutual growth, as something that freed both of us, that's fine. I don't need to correct her publicly. But it's not accurate. No, but the truth has a way of surfacing without me having to force it. The work speaks for itself. The timeline speaks for itself. People can draw their own conclusions. That's generous of you. It's self-preserving. I could spend my energy fighting about who was right and who was wrong, or I could spend it creating more work I'm proud of. I choose the latter. Marcus nods approvingly. That's a powerful perspective. We talk for another 20 minutes about future projects, about the challenges of success, about what it means to create art that matters. When we're done, Marcus thanks me and says he thinks it's one of the best interviews he's recorded. The episode goes live 2 weeks later. The podcast explodes. Within 24 hours, it's trending on Twitter. Clips are shared on TikTok. think pieces are written about the quiet dignity of my responses, the way I refuse to engage in public warfare while still making the truth clear. And people start finding Sarah's blog. The comments shift. Wait, this is the ex-wife from the podcast? She left him right before he got successful. Reading between the lines of her posts, knowing what we know now, yikes. She's really trying to take credit for his success. That's wild. I freed him to succeed. Girl, you left because you thought he was a failure. Own it. The backlash is swift and merciless. Sarah's inspirational journey narrative collapses under scrutiny. People dig into the timeline, compare her posts to the dates of my success, point out the inconsistencies. She takes down the blog 3 days after the podcast airs. Rose finds out from a friend who was following it. It's gone, she says, triumphant. Every post. She deleted everything. Good, I say. She must be freaking out. Probably. Are you going to call her? Why would I do that? Rose grins. I don't know. Gloat a little? I don't need to gloat. This isn't about winning. Then what is it about? Truth. The truth is out there now. That's enough. But it's not quite over as Sarah calls me 2 days after the blog disappears. I let it go to voicemail. She calls again and again. Finally, I answer. What do you want, Sarah? You humiliated me. Her voice is shaking. That podcast. You made me look like a villain. I never mentioned you by name. You didn't have to. Everyone knows it was about me. Because it was, but I didn't lie. Everything I said was true. You made me sound like a gold digger. I said you left because you didn't think I was successful enough. Is that not true? Silence. Sarah, you wrote an entire blog about our divorce. You painted me as a deadbeat dreamer. You took credit for my success. Did you think there wouldn't be consequences? I took the blog down. Because you got caught, not because you realized it was wrong. I'm being harassed online. People are sending me awful messages. That's terrible. I'm sorry that's happening, but it's not my responsibility to manage your reputation. You could do another interview. You could tell people to stop. No, Marcus, Lucera, you made choices. You pursued Derek while we were still married. You mocked my work. You tried to rewrite history to make yourself look good. Those were your choices. I'm not going to clean them up for you. I never thought you'd be this cruel. I'm not being cruel. I'm being honest. There's a difference. She's crying now. I can hear it in her voice. Part of me, a small fading part, wants to comfort her, to make it better. But that's not my job anymore. I have to go, I say. Wait. I hang up. Rose, who's been hovering nearby, looks at me with something like awe. You're kind of a badass, Dad. I laugh despite myself. I'm really not. You are. You stood up for yourself. You didn't let her control the story. I just told the truth. That's all you needed to do. The divorce is finalized 3 weeks later. I signed the last of the papers in my lawyer's office. A quiet room with mahogany furniture and diplomas on the walls. It takes 10 minutes. When it's done, my lawyer, a sharp woman named Patricia, shakes my hand and says, "Congratulations, you're officially a free man." Thank you. How do you feel? Honestly, relieved. Good. That's healthy. She hands me a folder with copies of all the finalized documents. Everything's in order. Child support payments start next month. Custody is sole with you. She has visitation rights, but given her current situation, I doubt she'll use them much. What situation? Patricia hesitates, then says, You didn't hear it from me, but I heard through the grapevine that things with her new partner aren't going well. Money issues, apparently. I feel a flicker of something. Not satisfaction exactly, but a kind of cosmic justice. That's unfortunate. Is it? Patricia smiles slightly. You're kinder than I would be. Rose and I celebrate that night with pizza and a movie. She picks The Princess Bride, a nostalgic choice, something we used to watch when she was little. Halfway through, during the scene where Wesley tells Buttercup he's the dread pirate Roberts, Rose pauses it. Can I say something? Always. I'm really proud of you. Her voice is serious, earnest. The way you handled all of this, the divorce, the podcast, Mom's blog, you never got mean. You never tried to destroy her, even though you could have. You just told the truth. And you took care of us. That's what matters. My throat tightens. Thank you, sweetheart. And I know Mom leaving hurt. I know it was hard. But I think maybe it was the right thing. For both of you. You're happier now. I can see it. She's right. I am happier. Lighter. Like I've been carrying a weight I didn't know was there until it was lifted. We're going to be okay, I say. I know. She grins. We're Chens. We're survivors. We finish the movie. We clean up the pizza boxes. We go about our evening like it's normal. Like the world didn't just fundamentally shift. And maybe that's the point. Maybe healing isn't dramatic. It's not a single moment of catharsis or revenge. It's just moving forward. One day, then another, then another. Building something new from the pieces of what broke. Spring arrives with a quiet insistence. Cherry blossoms on the trees. Longer days. The kind of light that makes everything look possible. Dreamwalker is published in America to strong reviews. It debuts on the New York Times bestseller list at number 8, climbs to number 3, stays there for 6 weeks. The sequel follows 3 months later and does even better. I do book signings, podcasts, interviews. People recognize me at the grocery store. It's surreal and overwhelming and deeply validating. Rose comes with me to a signing in San Francisco. She sits in the front row, beaming with pride. And when people ask me to sign their books, she tells them, that's my dad. After the event, we walk along the Embarcadero, eating ice cream and watching the boats. Do you ever miss Mom? Rose asks. I consider the question carefully. I miss who I thought she was. But the real her? No, not anymore. Do you think she misses us? I think she misses the idea of us. But I'm not sure she ever really knew us. Rose nods thoughtfully. I saw her last week. I stopped walking. You did. She texted and asked to meet for coffee. I said yes. Rose looks at me, defensive. I know you're not talking to her, but she's still my mom. Rose, it's okay. You don't need my permission to see her. She relaxes. It was weird. She asked about you, about the book. She wanted to know if you were dating anyone. What did you tell her? That it's none of her business. Rose grins. She didn't like that. I laugh. I bet not. She also wanted to know if you talked about her. Like, if you blamed her for everything. What did you say? I said you don't talk about her at all, which is true. And I think that bothered her more than if you'd been angry. Smart kid. She understands that indifference is more powerful than anger. How is she? I ask, surprising myself. Rose shrugs. I don't know. She says she's happy, but she doesn't seem happy. She and Derek fight a lot. About money mostly. And Mason is a lot. Like, he's sweet, but he's a handful. And I don't think Mum realized what she was signing up for. Raising someone else's child is hard. Yeah. And she's not good at hard. We walk in silence for a while. Then Rose says, "You know what's funny?" What? She thought she was leaving you for something better. A richer guy, an easier life, a ready-made family. But she just traded one set of problems for another. Except now, she doesn't have you to fix things. I never fixed things. I just accommodated. Same difference. Maybe. Or maybe there's a distinction I'm only now learning to see. I run into Sarah by accident 6 months after the divorce is finalized. I'm at a bookstore in Midtown Sacramento for a reading, and she's there. I don't see her at first. I'm focused on signing books, talking to readers, answering questions. But then I look up, and she's standing at the back of the room, half hidden behind a shelf, watching. Our eyes meet. She looks away first. After the reading, I find her browsing the fiction section, pretending to be interested in a book she's holding upside down. "Hi, Sarah." She jumps, caught. "Hi, I didn't know you'd be here. I happened to be in the neighborhood." "It's okay. You're allowed to be here." She sets down the book. "I heard you on the radio last week, talking about the sequel." "Yeah, it's doing well?" "I can see that." She gestures at the display near the front. A table stacked with copies of both Dreamwalker books. Posters advertising the anime, a cardboard cutout of the protagonist. This is amazing, Marcus. Really. I'm happy for you. Thank you. We stand in awkward silence. Then she says, "I read the first book. Finally." "What did you think?" "It's beautiful. Heartbreaking and beautiful. I cried at the ending." "That's the goal." "I didn't know you could write like that. I mean, I knew you were good. But I didn't know you were this good." I don't respond. What is there to say? "I'm sorry," she says quietly. "For what I said. For how I treated your work. I should have believed in you." "Yes, you should have. If I could go back. But you can't. None of us can." She nods, eyes glistening. "I know. I wanted you to know I regret it. The way I handled things. The things I said. I appreciate that." "Are you..." She hesitates. "Are you seeing anyone?" "That's not really your business anymore." "Right, of course. I'm sorry." Another silence. Then she says, "Rose told me you don't talk about me." "I don't." "Why not? You'd be justified." "After everything I did." "Because talking about you would mean letting you take up space in my life. And I'm done giving you that space." She flinches like I've slapped her. "That's harsh. It's honest. You used to be kinder. I used to be a lot of things. I'm different now. She looks at me, really looks at me, and I see the moment she understands. I'm not the man she married. I'm not the man she left. I'm someone new, someone she doesn't recognize and never will. I miss you sometimes, she says, softly. You miss the version of me that made you feel good about yourself. The version that was small enough that you felt big. But that person doesn't exist anymore. That's not fair. Sarah, you made your choice. You chose Derek. You chose his life, his child, his problems. That's fine. But you don't get to miss me now that you realize what you gave up. I didn't give you up. You were never really there. You're right, I wasn't. I was in my study, building something you couldn't see. And now it's real and you're not part of it. That's how it works. She opens her mouth, closes it. Then she nods, defeated. I should go. Okay. She starts to walk away, then pauses. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're happy. Are you? She thinks about it. I want to be. That's not the same thing. I know. She leaves. I watch her go. This woman who was my wife for 16 years, who I loved and lost and grieved. I feel nothing. No anger, no sadness, no longing. Just a quiet acknowledgement that she was part of my story, but she's not part of my ending. A year after the divorce, Rose and I moved to a new house. It's smaller than the old one, but it's ours in a way the other place never was. We pick out furniture together. We paint the walls colors we actually like. We hang art that means something to us. Rose's room is twice the size of her old one. She fills it with books and art supplies and posters from the Dreamwalker anime. She's started writing her own stories, fantasy, like mine, but darker, edgier. She lets me read them, and they're good, really good. You got your talent from me, I tease. Or you got yours from me, and I'm just the better version, she shoots back. I'm working on the third book in the Dreamwalker series. It's harder than the first two. The stakes are higher, the emotional terrain more complex. But I'm finding my way through it, one page at a time. Janet Wu calls every few weeks with new opportunities. A streaming service wants to option my next book. A video game company wants to create an RPG based on the Dreamwalker world. There's talk of translations into a dozen more languages. It's overwhelming and exhilarating and deeply strange. But the best part, the part that matters most, is coming home each day to Rose, making dinner together, watching terrible reality TV, talking about our days, our dreams, our plans. We're building a life together, just the two of us, and it's enough. One afternoon, I get an email from Sarah. I know we're not in contact, but I wanted you to know. Derek and I separated. It wasn't working. I'm moving in with my sister for a while until I figure things out. I don't expect anything from you. I just thought you should know. I hope you and Rose are well. S. I read it twice. Think about responding, offering condolences, or support, or just acknowledgement. But then I realize I don't owe her anything. Not my sympathy, not my attention, not my energy. I delete the email. Rose notices. Was that from Mum? Yeah. What did she want? To tell me she and Derek broke up. Rose raises an eyebrow, so that didn't take long. No, it didn't. Are you going to respond? No, good. She goes back to her sketchbook. She made her choices. Now she gets to live with them. Late one night, after Rose has gone to bed, I sit in my study and open a blank document. I've been thinking about writing something new. Not Dreamwalker, but something different. Something more personal. A story about a man who loses everything and discovers he never really had it to begin with. A story about the difference between being seen and being known. A story about rebuilding from ruins. I start typing. The day my wife left, I was sitting at the kitchen table, drinking cold coffee and thinking about how some things mix and some things don't, no matter how much you stir. The words flow. They always do. Eventually. That's the thing about writing, about creating. It doesn't abandon you. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't tell you you're not enough. It just asks you to show up and do the work. And I do. If you've ever felt invisible in your own life, like you're performing for an audience that's not watching, I want you to know something. Their blindness is not a reflection of your worth. Sarah looked at me every day for 16 years and didn't see me. She saw a project, a problem, a placeholder. She saw someone small enough to make her feel big. But I was never small. I was building something in the quiet spaces she never bothered to look. I was creating, dreaming, working towards something she couldn't imagine. And when the work paid off, when the world finally saw what I'd been doing, she wanted back in. She wanted to claim credit, to rewrite history, to pretend she'd always believed. But belief doesn't work backward. You can't unmock someone's dreams. You can't undismiss their work. You can't undo years of making them feel like they're not enough. The truth is, I was always enough. I just needed to stop waiting for her permission to believe it. So if you're in a relationship where you feel diminished, where your dreams are treated as hobbies and your work as a waste, listen to me. Leave or make them leave. Not out of anger, but out of self-preservation. Because the right people won't make you feel small. They won't make you prove your worth. They won't wait until you succeed to decide you matter. They'll see you when you're still building. They'll believe in you when there's no evidence yet. They'll stand beside you in the quiet moments, not just the celebrated ones. And if they can't do that, let them go. Not with bitterness, but with clarity. Not with revenge, but with dignity. Because the sweetest revenge isn't hurting them back. It's becoming exactly who you were meant to be, without them. 3 years after the divorce, Dreamwalker wins a major literary award. I'm invited to accept it at a ceremony in New York. Rose comes with me, wearing a dress she picked out herself, her hair done professionally for the first time. We sit in the audience while other winners are announced. Poets, novelists, essayists. People whose work changed lives, challenged norms, expanded what literature can be. Then they call my name. I walk to the stage, Rose cheering from the audience, and accept the award, a heavy glass sculpture that catches the light and throws rainbows across the room. I'm supposed to give a speech. I've prepared remarks about craft and perseverance and the power of storytelling. But when I get to the microphone, I find myself saying something else. I wrote Dreamwalker during the loneliest period of my life. I begin. I was in a marriage that was ending, in a career that felt invisible, in a life that didn't fit anymore. I wrote because it was the only thing that made sense. The only place where I felt seen. I look out at the audience, hundreds of people all listening. Someone very close to me once told me no one would ever read my work, that it was a waste of time, a little story that didn't matter. I hold up the award. She was wrong. The room erupts in applause. Rose is on her feet, cheering louder than anyone. And I realize, this moment, this validation, this recognition, it's not about proving Sarah wrong. It's about proving myself right. I believed in the work, even when no one else did. I kept going, even when it felt pointless. I built something that mattered to me first. And the world came along eventually. That's the lesson. Not revenge. Not vindication. Just the quiet, powerful knowledge that you were right about yourself all along. After the ceremony, Rose and I walked through Central Park, the award tucked in my bag, the night air cool and clear. "I'm proud of you, Dad," she says. "I'm proud of us." Think Mom saw the news? Probably. Think she regrets it? I consider this. I think she regrets the outcome, but I don't think she regrets the decision. She wanted a different life. She got it. It just wasn't what she expected. Do you ever wish things had worked out differently? No, not anymore. What we have now, you and me, this life we're building, I wouldn't trade it for anything. She smiles. Me neither. We walk in comfortable silence. Two people who've been through fire and came out stronger. And as we cross the bridge over the lake, with the city lights reflecting on the water, I think about the end of Dreamwalker. The final lines that made Sarah cry when she finally read them. Sometimes you have to lose everything to discover what you're made of. Sometimes the ending is the beginning. Sometimes the person you were meant to be was waiting on the other side of goodbye. I wrote those words years ago, not knowing they were prophecy. Now I'm living them. And it's better than any story I could have imagined.